Hello everyone. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new, to Before and After Diddy. This ain't your typical celebrity gossip channel. We're digging deep, man. We're talking about the rise, the reign, and the potential fall of a hip-hop titan. Sean Combs. Diddy. Puff Daddy. Whatever name he's rocking, the man's a legend. But legends can have dark sides, right? We're gonna peel back the layers, expose the raw truth. From the bad boy days to the billionaire lifestyle, and now, these shocking allegations, we're gonna see it all. Before the empire, and after the storm. Get ready, cause this ain't gonna be pretty. Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves at the epicenter of a cultural earthquake, a moment where the gilded facade of celebrity is cracking, revealing the raw, often brutal, realities beneath. Sean Diddy Combs, a name that once resonated with success, innovation, and unparalleled influence, is now entangled in a web of allegations that are as disturbing as they are complex. We're not dealing with whispers or rumors, we're confronting detailed accusations of sexual assault, sex trafficking, and a systematic abuse of power that paints a chilling portrait of alleged criminal behavior. A calculated orchestration of exploitation, a calculated dismantling of human dignity, a systematic erosion of trust. The initial strategy of denial, the unwavering proclamations of innocence, have been utterly dismantled by the cold, undeniable reality of that video. The footage depicting the assault on Cassie Ventura wasn't just a momentary lapse of judgment, it was a stark revelation, a glimpse into a pattern of alleged behavior that demands scrutiny, a violation of trust and human dignity, a potential exposure of a deeply ingrained culture of abuse, a potential unraveling of a carefully constructed illusion. The subsequent apology, while legally necessary, feels hollow, a mere formality in the face of such damning evidence. The public's trust, already eroded, has been further shattered, leaving behind a void of disbelief and outrage, a collective demand for answers, a societal roar against impunity, a collective cry for justice. Law enforcement is treating this with the gravity it warrants. The coordinated raids on his sprawling estates, the meticulous seizure of digital devices and documents, the forensic analysis of evidence, the witness testimonies being collected. These are not mere procedural steps. They are clear indicators of a comprehensive investigation, a determination to uncover the truth, regardless of the consequences, a pursuit of justice that transcends the boundaries of fame and wealth, a commitment to upholding the rule of law, a dedication to dismantling alleged systems of abuse. The upcoming trial, slated for May 2025, will be a crucible, a moment of profound reckoning where the shadows of alleged misconduct will be forced into the harsh light of justice, a stage where the narrative of power and abuse will be dissected, analyzed, and judged, a battleground for truth and accountability. This case transcends the individual. It's a damning indictment of the industry's power structures, a stark reminder of the potential for abuse when unchecked influence collides with a culture of silence, a symptom of a systemic problem that demands urgent attention, a call for radical change, a demand for a fundamental restructuring of the industry's power dynamics. The outpouring of support for the alleged victims, the celebrities who have publicly distanced themselves from Diddy, these are not mere gestures of solidarity. They are signs of a fundamental shift in societal attitudes, a growing intolerance for such behavior, a collective rejection of the status quo, a demand for a safer, more equitable industry, a movement towards a culture of transparency and accountability. Let's be unequivocally clear, the accusations are not confined to isolated incidents. We're dealing with allegations of a systemic operation, of victims being coerced, manipulated, and exploited, a network of alleged abuse that spans years, potentially decades, a calculated orchestration of control. The accusations of sex trafficking, of orchestrated abuse, of underage involvement, these are not mere allegations, they are potential felonies that demand rigorous investigation. Crimes that strike at the very heart of human decency, offenses that violate the fundamental principles of justice, acts that erode the very foundations of trust. The digital evidence, the documents seized, the testimonies being gathered, they hold the potential to unravel a complex network of alleged criminal activity, revealing the true scale of the alleged abuses, exposing the alleged mechanisms of control and manipulation, illuminating the alleged dark corners of power. The public's response has been visceral, a collective demand for justice. The message is resounding: no one, regardless of their status or wealth, is above the law. The reports indicating that Diddy cannot simply buy his way out of this situation underscore the seriousness of the investigation, signaling that the authorities are determined to see this through to its conclusion, regardless of the potential ramifications, a testament to the principle of equality before the law, a reaffirmation of the justice system's integrity, a declaration that power does not equate to impunity. Furthermore, the questions surrounding potential accomplices loom large. The rumors, the whispers, the speculation about other high-profile figures, they add a layer of intrigue and suspicion to the proceedings. Law enforcement is undoubtedly scrutinizing every connection, every relationship, every potential enabler. The scope of this investigation widens, the network of potential involvement is becoming increasingly clear, hinting at a potentially much larger issue, a web of complicity that demands unraveling, a system of alleged protection that demands dismantling, a culture of alleged silence that demands to be broken. This case is not just a legal battle, it's a cultural watershed moment. It's a moment where we confront the dark underbelly of celebrity, the insidious nature of power, and the long overdue need for accountability. It's a moment where we question the systems that allow such alleged behavior to persist, the culture that protects those who abuse, the silence that perpetuates harm. We're witnessing a paradigm shift, a collective awakening, and we will continue to provide you with comprehensive coverage as this crucial story unfolds, as the truth, however painful, is revealed, and as the industry itself faces a long overdue moment of self-reflection, a reckoning that will hopefully lead to lasting change, a transformation that will redefine the boundaries of acceptable behavior, a reformation that will prioritize safety, accountability, and justice. The first crack in the facade came with the lawsuit filed by his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. She alleged years of abuse, of physical and emotional control, of being drugged and sexually assaulted. And then, the video surfaced. Surveillance footage from a hotel in 2016, showing Diddy assaulting Cassie, throwing her to the ground, kicking her. It was a visceral, shocking moment, a visual confirmation of the allegations that had been circulating for years. That video changed everything. It transformed the narrative from one of he said, she said to one of undeniable evidence. And it opened the floodgates. Suddenly, other accusers came forward, each with their own harrowing stories. Stories of being drugged, of being coerced, of being trafficked. Stories that painted a picture of Diddy as not just an abuser, but as a predator, a man who used his power and influence to manipulate and exploit others. And then, the raids. Federal agents stormed Diddy's mansions in Los Angeles and Miami, seizing evidence, sending a clear message that this was no longer a civil matter, but a criminal investigation. The raids were a dramatic escalation, a signal that the authorities were taking these allegations seriously. Now, let's talk about the allegations themselves. They're not just about isolated incidents of abuse. They paint a picture of a systematic operation, a network of control, where Diddy allegedly used his wealth and influence to create a world where he could have whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted it. The accusers describe a world of lavish parties, of private jets, of constant surveillance, where they were isolated and manipulated, where their every move was controlled. And then there's the alleged involvement of others. The whispers of other high-profile figures, of celebrities and industry insiders who may have been complicit in Diddy's alleged behavior. The idea that this wasn't just the work of one man, but a network of enablers, is a chilling one. The legal implications are staggering. We're talking about potential charges of sexual assault, sex trafficking, racketeering, and more. If proven, these allegations could land Diddy in prison for a very long time. And they could have far-reaching consequences for the entire entertainment industry, exposing a culture of abuse that has been allowed to fester for far too long. But this isn't just a legal drama. It's a cultural moment. It's a moment where we're forced to confront the dark side of celebrity, the abuse of power, the way money and influence can be used to silence victims and perpetuate abuse. It's a moment where we're asking ourselves how we allowed this to happen, how we turned a blind eye to the whispers and rumors, how we allowed a man like Diddy to amass so much power. And it's a moment of reckoning for the music industry. For years, the industry has been built on a foundation of excess, of unchecked power, of a boys' club mentality that has allowed abuse to thrive. The Diddy case is a wake-up call, a demand for change, a call for accountability. But change won't come easy. The industry is deeply entrenched, and the power structures are resistant to reform. It will take courage from survivors, from industry insiders, from the public, to demand a different kind of industry, one that prioritizes safety and respect over profit and power. And it will take a long, hard look at ourselves. We, the public, the consumers, the fans, who have helped to create and perpetuate this culture. We need to examine our own complicity, our own willingness to overlook red flags, to separate the art from the artist, to excuse the inexcusable. The Diddy case is a complex and evolving story. There are still many unanswered questions, many pieces of the puzzle yet to be revealed. But one thing is clear, this is a moment of reckoning, a moment that will have far-reaching consequences, not just for Diddy, but for the entire entertainment industry. And for all of us. We are watching a cultural shift, a change in the way we perceive and address power, abuse, and accountability. The Diddy case is a mirror, reflecting back at us the dark corners of our society and forcing us to confront the uncomfortable truths we've been too willing to ignore. The question is, will we learn from this moment? Will we use this opportunity to create a better, safer, more just world? Only time will tell. Law enforcement is treating this with the gravity it warrants. The coordinated raids on his sprawling estates, the meticulous seizure of digital devices and documents, the forensic analysis of evidence, the witness testimonies being collected. These are not mere procedural steps. They are clear indicators of a comprehensive investigation, a determination to uncover the truth, regardless of the consequences, a pursuit of justice that transcends the boundaries of fame and wealth, a commitment to upholding the rule of law, a dedication to dismantling alleged systems of abuse, a pledge to protect the vulnerable. The upcoming trial, slated for May 2025, will be a crucible, a moment of profound reckoning where the shadows of alleged misconduct will be forced into the harsh light of justice, a stage where the narrative of power and abuse will be dissected, analyzed, and judged, a battleground for truth and accountability, a potential turning point for the industry. This case transcends the individual. It's a damning indictment of the industry's power structures, a stark reminder of the potential for abuse when unchecked influence collides with a culture of silence, a symptom of a systemic problem that demands urgent attention, a call for radical change, a demand for a fundamental restructuring of the industry's power dynamics, a push for a more equitable and just environment. The outpouring of support for the alleged victims, the celebrities who have publicly distanced themselves from Diddy, these are not mere gestures of solidarity. They are signs of a fundamental shift in societal attitudes, a growing intolerance for such behavior, a collective rejection of the status quo, a demand for a safer, more equitable industry, a movement towards a culture of transparency and accountability, a collective effort to dismantle the alleged systems of abuse. Let's be unequivocally clear, the accusations are not confined to isolated incidents. We're dealing with allegations of a systemic operation, of victims being coerced, manipulated, and exploited, a network of alleged abuse that spans years, potentially decades, a calculated orchestration of control, a calculated erosion of autonomy. The accusations of sex trafficking, of orchestrated abuse, of underage involvement, these are not mere allegations, they are potential felonies that demand rigorous investigation. Crimes that strike at the very heart of human decency, offenses that violate the fundamental principles of justice, acts that erode the very foundations of trust, potential crimes against humanity. The digital evidence, the documents seized, the testimonies being gathered, they hold the potential to unravel a complex network of alleged criminal activity, revealing the true scale of the alleged abuses, exposing the alleged mechanisms of control and manipulation, illuminating the alleged dark corners of power, a potential exposure of a systemic problem. The Diddy case is not just a story about one man, it's a story about power, abuse, and the long overdue demand for justice. It's a story that forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about our society, our entertainment industry, and our own complicity in perpetuating a culture of silence. And it's a story that demands we ask ourselves, what kind of world do we want to live in? What kind of industry do we want to support? Moving forward, there must be a fundamental commitment to change. The entertainment industry must prioritize safety and respect, fostering a culture where victims feel empowered to come forward and where abusers are held accountable. Law enforcement must continue to investigate these allegations thoroughly and impartially, ensuring that justice is served, regardless of status or influence. And the public must remain vigilant, demanding transparency and accountability from those in positions of power, refusing to tolerate the normalization of abuse. This is not just about Diddy, it's about all those who have been silenced, all those who have been abused, all those who have been denied justice. It's about creating a world where power is not synonymous with impunity, where victims are believed, and where justice prevails. The world is watching. And the world is waiting. The world is demanding change, demanding a new era of accountability and respect. Let's fast forward to late 2027, where the roller coaster life of Sean Diddy Combs takes a turn few could have predicted back in the chaotic days of 2024, when federal raids on his Los Angeles and Miami mansions dominated headlines and his legacy teetered on the brink of collapse. After his high-stakes trial in May 2025, where he faced a barrage of charges, sex trafficking, racketeering, and assault allegations that painted a grim picture of a mobile unmoored, Diddy's fate seemed sealed. Prosecutors brought forth a parade of witnesses, from former employees to alleged victims, while his defense countered with a narrative of jealousy, extortion, and a man targeted for his success. The trial, a media circus rivaling O.J. Simpson's, ends in a hung jury on the most severe counts, with Diddy pleading to lesser charges like obstruction and tax evasion in a deal that sees him serve 18 months at a minimum security facility in Otisville, New York. Released in early 2027, he steps out not as a broken man, but as a phoenix primed for reinvention, his signature white suit pristine, his grin defiant. What follows is a masterclass in image rehabilitation. Within months, he drops a sprawling, 3-part docuseries, Diddy, The Reckoning, on Netflix, co-produced with his still loyal Bad Boy Entertainment team and a savvy PR firm that knows how to spin gold from ashes. The series doesn't shy away from the accusations. Clips of courtroom sketches and tearful testimonies are interspersed with Diddy's own narration, where he admits to living too fast, trusting the wrong people, and losing sight of my purpose, all delivered with the gravitas of a preacher and the polish of a seasoned entertainer. He frames his downfall as a crucible, a necessary humbling that's made him a better father, businessman, and citizen, and the public, ever susceptible to a well-told redemption tale, eats it up, with viewership numbers rivaling Tiger King at its peak. By mid-2027, he's back in the studio, not just as a producer but as an artist, dropping a surprise album, Resurrection, featuring introspective tracks laced with gospel samples and collaborations with heavyweights like Jay-Z, who offers a verse about loyalty, and rising stars like Lil Yachty, who calls Diddy the OG who never quits. The album debuts at number 1, fueled by a viral X campaign with hashtags like #DiddyLives and #SecondX, and suddenly, the man who once seemed radioactive is a cultural touchstone again. His business empire, battered but not broken, roars back to life. Sean John relaunches with a legacy rebuilt collection, think sleek streetwear meets high fashion, marketed with ads showing Diddy rising from literal ashes, while Ciroc taps him for a limited edition comeback citrus vodka that flies off shelves. By 2028, he's hosting the Bad Boy Revival Tour, a nationwide spectacle featuring alumni like Maze and Faith Evans alongside new signees, with sold-out arenas chanting his name as if the scandals were a distant memory. Critics, of course, aren't all convinced. Op-eds in the New York Times and Rolling Stone question whether his charm offensive glosses over accountability, and X-threads dissecting old lawsuits resurface weekly. But Diddy counters with philanthropy, pouring millions into expanding his Capital Preparatory Charter Schools, launching a Future Leaders Scholarship Fund, and even partnering with nonprofits to address inner-city violence, moves that earn him praise from unlikely corners like education, reformers, and community activists. By 2029, whispers grow of a political play, perhaps a run for a New York City Council seat or a role as a cultural liaison under a progressive administration, his team spinning it as from the block to the ballot. The allegations, though never fully erased, fade into a murky backdrop, debated by historians and true crime podcasters, while Diddy, now pushing 60, stands atop a reimagined empire, his hair graying but his hustle undimmed. Love him or loathe him, his story becomes a case study in resilience, a testament to how fame, fortune, and a knack for narrative can bend even the harshest spotlight into a second chance, or a third, or a fourth, proving that in America, the stage is never truly dark for a showman like Sean Combs. Let's set the stage in 2030, a full 5 years from the tumultuous spring of 2025, when Sean Diddy Combs stood at the precipice of ruin. His Holmby Hills and Star Island estates swarmed by federal agents, his name synonymous with scandal as a cascade of lawsuits and criminal charges threatened to dismantle a legacy built over 3 decades. Back then, the headlines screamed of sex trafficking, racketeering, and a litany of civil suits from former associates, nannies, and alleged victims, painting a portrait of a mogul whose empire of music, fashion, and liquor had veered into a shadowy underworld of excess and exploitation. The May 2025 trial was a spectacle for the ages, broadcast live on every major network, dissected in real time on X, and fueled by a prosecution armed with wiretaps, financial records, and a dozen witnesses, countered by a defense team that leaned hard into a narrative of a man betrayed by opportunists and vilified by a culture quick to tear down its icons. The outcome? A mixed bag. After weeks of testimony, the jury deadlocks on the trafficking and racketeering counts, unable to untangle the web of conflicting stories, while Diddy pleads guilty to lesser charges, tax evasion, obstruction of justice, and a misdemeanor assault tied to a 2023 incident, securing a deal that lands him 24 months in a low-security federal facility in Cumberland, Maryland, with time shaved off for good behavior. Released in late 2027, he emerges not as a pariah, but as a man with a plan, his trademark charisma undeterred, his eyes fixed on a horizon of redemption. What unfolds over the next few years is nothing short of a cultural resurrection, a saga so meticulously orchestrated it could double as a graduate course in crisis management. First comes the media blitz. In early 2028, Diddy unveils Unbroken, The Diddy Chronicles, a 5-part docuseries on HBO Max, co-directed by Ava DuVernay, who brings an auteur's touch to his tale of fall and rise. The series is raw and glossy in equal measure. Archival footage of his bad boy heyday blends with courtroom sketches, tearful interviews with his kids, and Diddy himself, seated in a minimalist studio, reflecting on his wild years with a mix of contrition and defiance. I built an empire, but I lost myself, he says in a gravelly voiceover, and now I'm here to reclaim both. Critics call it manipulative, fans call it mesmerizing. Either way, it's a ratings juggernaut, pulling 30 million viewers in its first week and sparking endless debates on X about accountability versus reinvention. By mid-2028, he's back in the music game, dropping Phoenix Season, a double album that's half memoir, half mission statement. Tracks like Ashes to Gold feature gospel choirs and introspective bars about betrayal, while still Diddy brings back the party vibes with features from Drake, Cardi B, and a crop of TikTok-bred rappers he scouted to relaunch Bad Boy Entertainment as a Gen Z powerhouse. The album goes triple platinum, buoyed by a global tour that kicks off at Madison Square Garden, where a sold-out crowd roars as he rises through the stage on a hydraulic lift, clad in a Sean John suit emblazoned with Unbreakable and Swarovski crystals. Speaking of Sean John, the fashion line gets a 2029 reboot, Legacy Rewritten, a collection of tailored streetwear and avant-garde pieces that lands him on Vogue's cover, gray hair slicked back, staring down the lens with a look that says, "I'm still here." Ciroc, too, rides the wave, rolling out Redemption Reserve, a premium vodka aged in oak barrels, marketed with a Super Bowl ad showing Diddy walking through a burning mansion, emerging unscathed with a glass in hand. Business isn't just booming, it's evolving. He pours $50 million into expanding his Capital Preparatory Charter School network, opening 5 new campuses in underserved cities like Detroit and Memphis, and launches the Combs Community Fund, a nonprofit tackling youth mentorship and job training, earning him a sit-down with Oprah, who dubs him the comeback king on her relaunched talk show. By 2030, the redemption arc takes a civic turn. Diddy announces a bid for New York City mayor in the 2033 election, running as an independent on a platform of progress through prosperity, blending his entrepreneurial bona fides with promises of education reform, affordable housing, and a cultural renaissance for the city. His campaign launch at Harlem's Apollo Theater is a star-studded affair, with Jay-Z and Beyoncé in the front row, and his slogan, "From the block to the ballot," plastered across billboards. Opponents dredge up the old scandals, but his team counters with a flood of testimonials from students, artists, and small business owners he's uplifted, plus a polished ad campaign that frames his past as lessons learned the hard way. And there you have it, folks. A deep dive into the before and after of Diddy. From the heights of his empire to the depths of these allegations, it's a stark reminder of how quickly things can change. This isn't just about entertainment, it's about power, accountability, and the search for truth. I hope this video has given you some perspective and sparked some thoughtful discussion. If you found this breakdown informative, please hit that like button, leave a comment with your thoughts, and share this video. And if you're new here, subscribe to Before and After for more in-depth explorations of these complex stories. We'll continue to follow this case and bring you the latest developments. Stay tuned, and thanks for watching.